I'm just going to click on record now. So if you want to send this out to your teams, anyone that didn't manage to get on tonight, it will be on the Team Wow YouTube channel, which you should all know where that is anyway. So yeah, great. This is probably one of my favourite subjects to talk about, just because I think that it is very, very simple to get right, but so many people get it so wrong. And so it's something that's really close to my heart, and something that I just sort of enjoy talking about. Social media, so you all know what we're talking about tonight. This is how to, I suppose, get more customers and more partners through the power of social media. Now, personally, I think because I grew up in a time when there was no social media, I've had to learn how to use it. And as a result, I really only know how to use Facebook. So everything that I talk about kind of comes from a Facebook perspective. But as far as I'm aware, you can take the same principles across any social media platform that you choose to use, or that you know how to use or like, etc. I think the principles are very much the same. And to be honest, so is it the same for any kind of business, really. These principles are very simple principles that work across the board. So this isn't specifically Utility Warehouse, although obviously that's what we're all talking about this evening. And I think probably the key thing to remember is, well, personally, I think there is no quick fix for social media, promoting your business or Utility Warehouse business via social media. And I think that's probably one of the fundamental things that people get wrong. People think that it's okay to just, or that it will work if you just post something out there that's going to say, I mean, I don't know, something like, oh, British Gas have just put their prices up. Talk to me before you switch away from British Gas so I can get you a really good deal. Something like that. You're expecting someone to respond to you straight away saying, oh yes, that's me, I'm paying over the odds with British Gas and I want to talk to you. Now, in an ideal world, that would be amazing, and that would be what happens. And if that worked, then I'd be the first person to say, stick that all up on your Facebook page. But in reality, it doesn't work. Not only does it not work, it actually kills your following. So anybody that is following you and that's hoping to get some sort of insight into either your business or your life or whatever by following you, will be completely turned off by sales messages like that. And again, that works for, that's any business that relates to. But I think specifically network marketing businesses, because one of the things we worry about is that we think that people always think that we're trying to sell to them all the time. Well, if you're putting messages like that on your Facebook page, then yeah, basically you are trying to sell to them all the time. And then that's just not going to give you a good reputation yourself. And we are in a relationship business, and when we're talking to people offline, we understand that we're making long-term relationships, and we're planting seeds now that perhaps we're going to reap in a couple of months, a year, whatever time. So we need to realize that that's what we're doing on social media as well. So there is definitely no quick answer, and anything that looks like it's going to get you an immediate response, the chances are it's probably the wrong thing for you to be doing. So if you implement, I'm going to talk to you about my kind of I have sort of a 4-step process that I use in terms of my social media strategy. And I think that, if you started implementing this today, you're not going to see results from this month, next month, or maybe even 3 months down the line. But what you will realize is that when you've been in this business for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you will start to get those kind of messages that I put on the promotion for this call. So I would say now, probably on a monthly basis, somebody contacts me to ask me what it is that I'm doing, what it's all about. Is it something that can work for them? Even for example, I meet people on WAM stands who, I'm there to WAM, and if they knew nothing about what I was doing, it would be a completely cold situation. It might be somebody that I knew 10 years ago or whatever, and we suddenly see each other again and we have that kind of connection. But I've got to take them right back to the beginning about why I'm there, what I'm doing, what the company does, etc. It's very cold. Whereas I've had situations where I've had somebody come up to a WAM stand, they've gone like, oh my God, how are you? What's this you're doing? Oh, is this that thing that you're doing where you're always congratulating people and you're always on stage, and you get like hampers and holidays and stuff, don't you? Now, to have that conversation with somebody is amazing, because immediately they're like, oh, I've just joined all the dots now. Yeah, of course I'll have an appointment with you. That sounds great. They've already seen that evidence from the last year, 2 years, or however long you've been doing the business, because this is such a long-term strategy. So don't believe that what we're going to talk about tonight is going to get you immediate results, and don't be disappointed when it doesn't. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're all in this for the long game. No one's here just to make a quick buck over the next couple of months. We're all doing this because we want to secure our futures. And so if that's the perspective we're coming from, then you need to see this as something that's going to start drip feeding over time, and then you're going to start reaping the rewards at a later date. So what is it? It's a 4-step process. I'll tell you what the 4 steps are, and then I'll talk to you about them individually. So number 1 is be attractive. And of course, that is not being good looking. That is about being attractive to other people. So other people wanting to listen to what you've got to say, wanting to engage with what you've got to say, etc. Number 2, post regularly. There's no point doing this if you're only going to be doing 1 post a month. It's just not enough really to get people sort of engaging in what you're saying. Number 3, connect. And number 4, converse. So be attractive, post regularly, connect, and converse. So we'll go back to number 1, be attractive. So let's say, for example, you say to somebody, right, I really need you to have a look at my business because it is literally changing my life. You say that to somebody and then they have a look on your Facebook page, and Monday morning your post is, oh God, it's Monday, it's raining, life's rubbish, hate the commute, all these sorts of things. How is someone going to believe you when you say to them that this business is changing your life and they really need to take a look at it if you're posting things like that? Because that doesn't make you attractive. That doesn't make you the kind of person that people are going to think, I want to be like that person. Because why would anyone want to be like the person that sits in a traffic queue on a Monday morning when it's raining? So you got to post about things that are going to make you look attractive. So, we all do lovely things in our day-to-day lives. And particularly, this business does start to allow you to do even more of those things because potentially we have a little bit more time, we have a little bit more money. So talk about the things that you're doing. It's just, I don't know, even if you go to a concert that's obviously cost a bit of money. You go on a nice holiday that means that you've taken time off work. Think about the key messages that we want to get across in this business. You work from home, it's flexible, it's well paid, you get loads of free stuff, we have more time because of what we're doing. All of those things, rather than writing a post that says, I'm really excited about my home-based business because it's flexible and I get to work around my children and we get loads of free stuff and we're really well paid, just post stuff that is clear that that is the case. And again, you're not going to get somebody responding to the first message that you put up that's got those key messages in it. But if you're consistently posting things, and that brings me on to the second point, if you're posting regularly about stuff that's going on in your life that's fun, that's engaging, that's making you happy, that clearly makes you look like an attractive person, then people are going to be attracted to you and are going to want to ask you questions. So let's assume you've done those 2 things. You've got, again, I'm talking particularly about Facebook, but I would imagine it works for others as well. You've got this lovely Facebook wall. You've got posting loads of stuff on there about how lovely everything is. And you're looking really attractive, and that's really great. But it's no point if no one's ever going to see it. Now, Facebook in the last 2 to 3 years, for example, has started becoming much more human in the way that it shows your content to other people. So apparently, I think somebody said to me that if that Facebook could go on your profile and identify your 10 best friends based on the way that you communicate over Facebook. So it could pick out, you might have 300 friends, 400 friends, it could pick your 10 best friends based on the way that you communicate with them on Facebook. And that's basically how it shows your content. So you probably noticed that if somebody pops up on your Facebook page and you like a few of their things or you comment on a couple of their things because something's just happened, what will then happen is you will then start to see their content a lot more regularly all of a sudden, whereas you'd never seen them for ages before, and now all of a sudden you're seeing loads of their stuff. And that's because Facebook has picked up that you're communicating with them, so they believe that what that person is writing is relevant to you. So that's the same with other people as well when they're looking at your stuff. Your posts will only be visible to the people that you are having connections with, you're connecting with, you are potentially conversing with, or having some sort of online relationship with. So when I say connect, I mean things like liking people's posts, writing comments on their posts, but more importantly, actually direct messaging them, because Facebook picks up when you're communicating with another person via Messenger. It's a very, very strong connection, and it will show them all of your content once you start actually conversing with them. And then obviously that brings me on to the fourth point, which is conversing. So, again, there's no point in somebody seeing all your content and you connecting with them and then just leaving it at that. Have conversations with people. And I mean, something that I haven't mentioned so far, but for me, it's really, really important that this is not about Utility Warehouse. None of the posting, none of the connecting, none of the conversing mentions Utility Warehouse, because you will just be seen as somebody who is getting in contact with people in order to promote your business. And I know that is essentially what we're doing, but what we're really doing is just expanding that network, widening your circle, not necessarily with an end game of recruiting that person or making that person become a customer. This is an overall strategy that we're doing on Facebook in order that more people in future will see what's going on, and then it's their decision whether they want to come on board or ask you questions about it, etc. So, that conversing is really important. I don't know, something like, birthdays are ideal situations, aren't they? Birthdays, if you've probably had the same thing. It's your birthday, you look on your wall, there's like 50 people have said happy birthday to you, and they've all said happy birthday, exclamation mark, with a little party emoji and maybe a cake emoji. It's all exactly the same. And I bet you can't remember who posted on your Facebook wall last birthday saying happy birthday, because there would be so many of them and they're all saying exactly the same thing. None of them stand out. But if it's somebody's birthday, let's say, for example, someone that you went to school with, you were quite good friends then, but it's probably been like 10, 20 years since you communicated with them. What if you just sent them a message and said, hey, saw that it was your birthday, I hope you're having a really great day. What are you up to? That is a connection with a question, which means that really they're going to have to respond to you. I mean, I'm sure not everybody does, but in the main, people will see a message like that and think, oh, blimey, God, I remember that person. Oh, isn't that sweet of them? They've asked me a question. Yeah, I'll tell them what I'm up to. And then you start a conversation. And again, it's not about Utility Warehouse. It's just about starting a conversation. Because you know what? Somewhere along the line, that conversation will go down the lines of, so what are you up to at the moment? Well, I'll tell you, and then that's an opportunity for you to talk about what you're doing, or even suggest that you meet up, or, you can take it wherever you would do normally when you were striking up that sort of conversation. So I think it's, like I say, really, really important that this is not focused on Utility Warehouse, because the moment it is, you really will lose people. And from my perspective, I mean, I go probably a little bit too far the other way. I am so careful that nothing that goes on my Facebook page ever mentions Utility Warehouse. So even to the point where when I got the Mini, I didn't have any of the pictures of the outside of the car on my Facebook page. Obviously, I talked about the fact that I'd been given a brand new car by the company that I work with. I think I probably posted pictures of the keys being a Mini, brand new Mini, all of that sort of stuff is absolutely perfect. But I just didn't talk about the fact that it was Utility Warehouse. And this is not because I'm not proud of it, because anybody that knows me will know that I am extremely proud of the company that I work with. But it's more about the fact that, you imagine if I posted something saying, I'm so excited, Utility Warehouse has just given me this brand new Mini. Well, anyone that's looking, thinking, I wonder what that's all about, getting a free car from her business. Oh, it's Utility Warehouse. Oh, I'll have a quick Google. What's Utility Warehouse about? Oh, they just sell gas and electric. That's a bit boring. Now, we know it's not boring, but you can imagine somebody who hasn't been exposed to half of what we know could think that it was a bit boring. So, or their, I don't know, grandma's sister's dog was a Utility Warehouse customer 10 years ago, and it all went horribly wrong, and so they'd never touch Utility Warehouse with a barge pole. Well, what a shame if that's somebody who could be your next TL, if they actually sat in front of today's presentation and actually understood what we do as a company, fully understood, rather than what they think they know about the business. And if you mention Utility Warehouse in your posts, people will think they know all about us already, and they won't ask you questions. So what we're trying to do is get people to ask us questions, but if you give them all of the answers straight away, then what's there to ask? And you'll never know that that person was potentially thinking about talking to you about what you do, because you've lost the opportunity. So I think that's really key as well. And in terms of the posts, we talked about, attractive posts, just making it look like you're having a lot of fun, etc. The other thing is it's really important to, for two reasons really, but it's really important to congratulate the people around you for the things that they are experiencing in the business. So obviously if you're growing a team, then it's very simple, because every time somebody in your team has a promotion, reaches a different club, launches has a business launch, anything like that is worth congratulating, because what that says from your perspective is, this isn't just something I do. This is something that other people join, people are joining me all the time. There's lots of new people joining my team, and they're being successful. So what you end up with is a situation where people look at you and think, well, you're obviously doing well in this business, whatever it is, but other people are joining you and following you, and they are also doing well as well. And so if you've got situations where, let's say, for example, someone knows you and they know a couple of other people in Utility Warehouse as well, and they've always kind of wondered, would this be something for me? If they see that you're being really successful, that might be what makes them contact you rather than somebody else that they know. So it's important from that perspective, but it's also really important, pretty much I would say everybody, I can't see the full list, but I'm guessing everybody on this call has gathered at least one customer so far. And you can probably remember what it was like when somebody congratulated you for that first customer. You feel great. You feel brilliant that you've joined something, you took a punt, and it's working. It might only be the first customer, but to get that kind of recognition from your peers, which in the majority of situations we don't get in a corporate environment or a public environment, we tend not to get congratulated for the little things that matter to us but don't tend to matter to other people. So if you can do that for your team, then they feel really great about that as well, and that's really encouraging. And you know what? If you don't have a team, then borrow somebody else's story. You'll see lots of things going on. Danielle recently in the team picked up her Mini, so that was fantastic. And a couple of the girls in the team who aren't even in her team congratulated her on achieving the Mini. So that's a great thing, because you might be really early on, you might not have any, you might be a long way off, potentially something like the Mini or a holiday or something like that. But to congratulate other people on doing it shows everybody in your Facebook group or your Facebook page that's seeing your stuff that getting a Mini or getting a holiday or getting a hamper or whatever it is that you're congratulating that person for is possible in this business. Rather than you saying, it's so much more about the endorsement. If you're endorsing if it's third party endorsement, it's going to have a lot more authority on your page than if you just say, oh, I'm really excited because my company announced today that there's a new holiday up for grabs and you could go to Peru. That's a lot less interesting than I'm literally bursting with excitement today because one of my great friends, Maz, in the team has just qualified for her all expenses paid trip to Peru. I can't wait to see your pictures or something like that. Isn't that a much more interesting post? And it's got so much more endorsement in it than if I wrote that myself. So I think that's really important too. To be honest, that's pretty much everything that I had on my list to talk about. And it's so succinct. I wasn't expecting it to go on very long, but I think it would be interesting if people have got questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everybody on my screen. I know a lot of you haven't got your videos on, but wave at me if you've got a question and I will unmute you. Who's going to kick off? So I'm assuming everybody got it. Everybody knows. There you see, Katie's put her video on. I'm sure. I knew I could rely on you to have a question, Katie. Go for it.
When you say regularly, how regularly do you mean? I find it difficult to kind of do one every single day, being really positive and upbeat and look how amazing my day has been, when sometimes it hasn't.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting you to be, don't lie, because I think if people start lying on Facebook, then, people can see. So I'm only suggesting that you do this when you actually feel like the things that you're talking about. But You know, daily, if you've got something to say daily, then say it daily. I don't think that's a problem. If you're struggling for things to say and you think that you're basically saying the same thing every day, then, you know, don't, because it's just going to look repetitive. But have a look around at some of the people that you admire in the team. You know, we always say this. Have a look at the people that you know. If you would like their business, if you would like the situation that they're in terms of how people seem to be attracted to them, then have a look at what they're doing. If they're doing well on Facebook, have a look at what they're doing and have a look at how regularly they're doing stuff. But I would say for sure, you know, try not, if you're not posting at all, then you need to start thinking about what you can post about on it every couple of days, etc., like that. But don't just try and fabricate stuff that's not really there in order to do that. What I do say, and that does bring me on to another point that I did miss actually, if you can give yourself a target of reconnecting with 5 people a day on Facebook, if you want to take the Facebook strategy seriously, and again, I'd say that this would work across the board as well, but if you want to take this seriously, reconnect with 5 people a day. Now that doesn't mean talk to 5 people a day about Utility Warehouse. That means say hi to somebody. Send them a happy birthday message. I mean, the great thing about Facebook, I mean, you know, when people aren't promoting a business, what do they really want when they post a picture of their cats? What do they really want when they post a picture of their child? You know, they want people to say, oh my God, your child is literally the cutest child I've ever seen. Oh my God, I want your cats. They're amazing. You know, and this is something, I mean, I know Katie's going to laugh at this, because anybody that knows me from before I was doing well with the Facebook situation with Utility Warehouse, I'm not really a very nice person, and I don't want to tell somebody how amazing their cats are, and I don't want to tell somebody how gorgeous their children are, because I really can't be bothered. You know, that's not how I communicate. That's not me. But I've had to become much more like that, you know, a much more pleasant person, much more likable, and actually share some of my time with those people and do what actually people want. And that's what people want when they're on, you know, when they're posting those things. They want people to say lovely things about them, and they're gonna remember. I mean, I had one situation actually. He joined as a Daffy Gold and an ID on the back of this is when I very first started trying to do this strategy. She was going, I mean, he'd taken her on an amazing holiday, and then I think he proposed to her somewhere, and it was all the classic pictures of an amazing holiday, and then the ring, you know, and then the wedding, and all these things. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is it. I know Katie's making those faces, which is what I'm thinking. I mean, you know, I'm not married, so of course every time somebody puts up a picture of a ring, I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, you know. But what I'm now doing is I'm so excited. That's great, you know, really. And to be honest, it's funny, because the more I'm like that, the more I'm actually thinking, do you know what? I am really chuffed for her, because, you know, she had a run of difficult situations, and now she's found a really nice guy, and he's taken her to an amazing place, and he's proposed. So why shouldn't I be happy for her? Actually, that's a much, much nicer position for me to be. And like I say, it's changed the way I think about things, which is never a bad thing. But the interesting thing was the third in the succession of those posts was them posting a picture of their keys to their new house when they bought it. But because it was a 6-month period of me being really nice every time she posted something, when I then said to her 6 months later, oh, I'm so excited about your house, that's really amazing. Firstly, the approach didn't sound unusual, because I'd been doing that for a period of 6 months. But secondly, when I said to her, I'm not sure if I've ever told you what I do, but I can actually help you save money on the cost of moving house, which I know is a huge undertaking. Do let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And of course, the message straight back was, oh, thanks so much. That's really sweet of you. Anything I can do to save money, I'm really up for it. When are you free? I'll pop round and I'll show you what I do. Appointment, Daffy Gold partner. Because, you know, it's just about getting in front of people. And, you know, and my strategy with Facebook really is just, you know, it's the same as being offline as well. Make friends for making friends' sake. You just don't know where those conversations are going to take you. And that's actually, I think that's something to pick up on as well, that this Facebook strategy is essentially what I do offline. So if you can get this right online, then this is basically what I do offline. I try and connect with as many people as I can every day. I try and be as attractive as I can in terms of how I'm talking to people, what I'm saying, the time that I'm investing in conversations. I'm trying to listen to them rather than tell them too much about me. Again, that's something that I've massively had to change, because that's just my personality, is that I get very excited about what I'm doing and I want to tell everybody else what's going on with me. But I've really learned to listen to what everybody else is saying before, answering questions that they maybe have about what's going on with me, etc. So if you can do all of that on Facebook, you can do it all offline as well. It's exactly the same process. Be attractive, speak to people regularly, connect with people, and don't spout utility warehouse all over them. Just make friends, because you just never know where those conversations are going to take you. So I don't know if that answers your question, Katie. I'm hoping that it does. Anybody else have a question? No. Well, there we go. Unless anyone's frantically trying to get their video on to wave at me. No questions. Okay, well, there we go. That's, oh, hold on a minute, Welly, I saw you. Go for it. Are you, yeah, I should be able to hear you.
Hiya, a bit of a strange one, really. I work full time, so I see other people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I see other people's posts when they don't work and they're having a lovely time at the park with their kiddies or at the seaside. But because I work full time, I don't have anything lovely like that to say, because I am doing the mundane going to work 9 to 5. What could I say?
Yeah, well, I have to disagree with you totally, because I know you and I know that you do some lovely things and you go to places and you enjoy time with your friends. You're a very, very sociable person. And just because you don't have the ability to say, this is an amazing business that works brilliantly because it means at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning I can hang out at the park. There are so many other things that you do that this business is allowing you to do. Have you had some goals that you set that you've already reached in this business? I know you haven't been doing it for that long, but
no, not really. I mean, I have achieved, a few things like the Warsaw and the hamster, and I have sort of promoted.
Wait a second. You've achieved an all expenses paid luxury 5-star European holiday in Warsaw.
Yeah,
I'd say that was something to shout about.
And I've done that. I did do that. I did.
But little things on a daily basis, like spending time with friends, like the money that comes in from this business. What does that mean to you? What does that allow you to do? Does it allow you to, not have an evening job or a weekend job, or does it allow you to go on a few more holidays? Does it allow you to, I don't know, one of your friends says to you, "Oh, I'm going to this concert. Tickets are 80 quid a pop. Fancy coming," and all of a sudden now you can say yes to those sorts of things, rather than perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps before that would have been something that you'd have to think about. So if you think about what other people are thinking, if they see you doing just fun stuff with your friends all the time, you think the average person in this country has £125 left per month after they've spent everything. So these people are not going to concerts. These people are not going to music festivals. These people are not going to holidays. So any of those sorts of things that you're doing, just socialising and having a nice time, it's putting that across to people who aren't in that situation. It doesn't have to be about not having a full-time job or having kids and working around them and all that sort of stuff. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know
Thank you.
Things you could be talking about for definite. Just things that make you happy.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
No worries. Anyone else before we end the call? I think that's a no. So well done everybody for getting on. I have, as far as I'm aware, I've recorded the call, so fingers crossed that will be up on the YouTube link later. You can send it on to any of your team that weren't on the call. As you know, we don't record these calls very often, but every now and again, when the subject is one that we know a lot of people are interested in, we do. So don't start thinking that these will be recorded. You do have to be here at 8:30 on a Sunday evening. Next week, of course, we have a fast start call at 8:30 on Sunday. So please come on that if you are new. If you've got people in your team that are new, try and get them on and come on and show them a good example as well. Or if you're, team leaders and above, and you want to get better at getting people started, etc., then those calls are really, really important. So 8:30 Sunday night next week, and we'll see you here. Other than that, have a great week, stay focused, and have some good results. And I look forward to congratulating you. Speak soon.